Okay, I think we're recording. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 21st Century Directors Meeting for May. It's nice to see you all here. We are going to get right into it. We don't have a hugely long agenda today, but a few important things to talk about. And, as we're nearing the end of the school year, and some people, this maybe is their last day, I don't know. So I'm sure you're all really busy with, exciting things happening and potentially summer programs and last day parties and that kind of stuff. So just really quickly before we get started, very, very quickly, I'd love you just to say your name, where you're from, and if you're doing anything special for your last day of programming, or if you did, or if you have something cool coming up for a summer program. And I'm just going to call on people to keep it moving really fast. How about we start with Karen, now that you've got your
My video
camera
going.
working?
Still no
Yeah.
hot water in my house, so I'm kind of a hot mess today. Um, my name is Karen Roberts. I am with Lamoni Community Schools 21st Century Exploration Academy. We actually ended school last Friday,
Okay.
and so our summer program starts Monday. So we have been gearing up. We've had some awesome professional development with AmeriCorps that my staff has been able to sit in on. And they've really rocked it and made me really proud. So we're ready to start Monday.
Cool. Thanks, Karen. Okay, how about Kristen? Kristen Clayton.
Hi, Kristen Clayton with Oak Ridge Neighborhood in Des Moines. We are not done with school yet, so a few more days next week. But we are also gearing up for our summer blast camp. So getting ready for that while finishing out the year.
Very cool. Keely, you guys doing anything special?
We are doing nothing special.
Okay.
Our last day of school is today, and we unfortunately don't have any summer money. So we had a plan, it fell through. And
Oh,
so unfortunately, we will not have a summer plan, but we are keeping our eyes out for opportunities. For next year specifically, we've kept our eyes on some early literacy opportunities through the state, and we've got a local grant that could match if we are able to secure something in the future. So that's where we're at.
all right. How about Jenna?
Hello, Jenna Andrews from Beyond the Bell in Sioux City. We also have school going into next week yet. And then we'll roll into our summer program. We do all of our moving in and hauling supplies Friday and Monday, and then we are going to start program on Tuesday. So looking forward to that. Summer is like a whole different beast, and it's, in a lot of our opinions, it's so much more fun. So looking forward to it.
That's great. Cool. Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Delaney from Andrew School. Our last day of school was actually last Friday, and we started our summer program this past Tuesday. I got my bus driver's license, so I'm taking the kiddos anywhere and everywhere that we
Yep.
can.
Fun.
Today we're going to go swimming.
Fun. How about George?
Yes, we ended our after school program on the 23rd, last Friday. What we did was we partnered with Texas Roadhouse during the school year in the summer, and we did like a bit of a reading program where we try to encourage our kids to read more. So they gave us a bunch of these bookmarks, and if kids read 3 books, they can go and get a free entree. Which would also help us because we did a dine to donate last night with Texas Roadhouse, where they'd donate 10% to our Boys and Girls Club if people would show the flyer for coming. And so this helped out with families because meals are very expensive now. But a parent can take a few of these with their kids and at least only pay for themselves. And then it helped us out. And then they brought out Andy the armadillo to hang out with the kids and some of that bread and butter that everybody loves. And so, yeah, nice way to end. And then now we're getting ready for summer. which will start in a couple weeks. We're doing a lot of cleaning up right now and throwing stuff out that's not necessary and getting our spaces in order. So Bailey's on here. Maybe he'll talk about the summer kickoff carnival, so I don't take all everything to talk about. So thank you.
That's so cool. That reminds me of Book It, which was the best part of summer for people as old as me. You remember Book It? Okay, let's go, Bailey.
For sure. I'm Bailey Moore. I'm the Director of Operations for the Boys and Girls Clubs here in Waterloo, Iowa. Yeah, like George said, we're really I don't know, elbow deep in the cleanup week here. Like you said, just trying to make sure our buildings are in order. We get some of our things kind of fixed up, updated, ready for our summer kids, because summer is definitely a different animal. Full day club days for us, starting on the 16th, will be 9 to 4 Monday through Thursday for 6 to 12-year-old sites, and then we'll be noon to 4 for our teen center, and that'll be Monday through Friday for teens. So really looking forward to that. Like George said, we'll have our summer kickoff carnival coming up on June the 20th in Ferguson Park here in Waterloo. So plan is to really get as many families and young people out into the park as we possibly can. Really trying to do a big registration drive for our Boys and Girls Club, as well as just have a few different resources from the community come out, support families, play some games, enjoy a free meal courtesy of Tyson Fresh Meats that's in our area. So really looking forward to that. And then as we get towards the end of the summer, we'll have Summer Kickoff Carnival. We partner with another organization, our local JCs, to give backpacks out at the end of the summer, and again, do a lot of resources for family and things like that. So really looking forward to a very busy and a very fast summer this year.
Sounds like it. Thanks. Elena, what are you guys doing?
Hi, Elena Horn with Council Bluffs Schools. It's the last day of school here, so we are in the same boat as some, where today is not eventful, early dismissal for the schools. So we're just supporting that. And then our summer school, we have a week off, and then we'll kick off summer school on the 9th. We have a kickoff party next Thursday. And outside of that, we're just gearing up for summer school.
Fun. Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, I'm back at work now.
I see that. Yeah.
I didn't get home till 1:30 this morning, but I'm here. We still have 2 days next week of school. But our programming was over. May 16th was our last day for our before and after school program. And we do not do a summer program. So right now I am just dealing with all of the stuff that got sent back to my office that I have to put away and sort through, and dealing with teacher surveys and student surveys and parent surveys and all of that data stuff that I'll be working on all summer.
Fun. Madeline, I don't think we've heard from you yet.
Hi, see, it's Madeline, Boys and Girls Club of Central Iowa. So today is our last day of the school year club. And then we'll be closed all of next week for training. And then June 9th, so that's the next week, is the first day of our summer club. So yeah, it's also the same day as our big golf tournament. So we're pretty much starting the summer hitting the ground running, and it's just going to be very, very busy and that kind of thing. We know there's a lot of field trips and just a lot of things for our summer program. With our 8 clubs, it's different with each one. So just trying to like coordinate with all of that, and that kind of thing. So
Cool. Thanks, Madeline. Brandon, I know you don't have your camera on, but are you with us with audio?
I'm here.
Great. Hi.
I don't really do a whole lot I'm the principal of the school. Jackie leads everything. I just help with anything that she needs from me, try to support her with her program. So she works with everything, coordinates everything, and like she said, has her bus driver's license, so she can take him wherever she wants.
Well, thanks for joining this morning. Appreciate it. Claudia, are you with us? Oh, maybe not.
Hi,
Yep, there she is. Hi.
I'm here. I'm in transit. Sorry.
That's okay.
Our club stopped last Friday. We might have one club that's still going on just because we needed a flexible schedule. Our last day of school is June 5th, and we are trying to bring back summer programming. So we're going to start with one
Yay.
state and see if that can be the model where they actually host summer school with building funds during the day, and then we have the enrichment in the afternoon with vendors and
Perfect.
everything. So we're going to try this 2-week model, and then hopefully it grows to more weeks and more buildings.
Good luck. That sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Caitlin.
Hi, so we have our program, after school program ended on the 16th. We didn't have Texas Roadhouse, so that makes me really jealous, but we did celebrate with a pizza party with kids, and it was a great time. Our summer program is starting in the middle of June, and I'll just highlight one of my favorite elements, which is like our nature navigators classroom. So we have some themed classrooms that we break out into, and that particular class gets to do some really amazing field trips, kayaking, hiking, different nature pieces, which is what I like to do in my summertime as well. So
Cool. Thanks, Caitlin. Deidre, hi, welcome. We heard from Kristen, but is there anything you'd like to add for Oak Ridge?
I'm sure she covered everything. We ended our program last week and we start mid-June. Training starts next week. So we're going 9 weeks of programming all day, 8 to 5. So we're here, we're doing it.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right, Joel, I'm going to go ahead and throw the agenda up and we can get started on what we're talking about today.
Can I say just one thing?
Sure, of course.
We have just found out last Friday, we have opportunity to incubate some peacock eggs. And so
Cool.
that's what we are doing for part of our summer program. So stay tuned. We hope we'll have some little peacocks.
Yeah, we're going to need some pictures of the process, Karen. Cool.
All right. What are you going to do with the peacocks? I have to ask. What happens to a peacock?
Uh-oh.
We actually have she's a former teacher, good friend of mine that has a farm, and she already has peacocks, and so she's really frustrated with them because they won't sit on their eggs. So we're going to incubate the next round for her and see if we can get her some more peacocks for her farm. She has an array of animals. We take the kids out there all the time,
Cool.
and they just have a blast. So
Cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Okay, so so Joe Collins with the Iowa Department of Education. I see a couple new faces on here, but I've been on the job for a little over 2 months now, I guess, maybe almost 3 at this point. But I've got a couple of quick updates to offer from the Department of Ed. I realized, Heidi, we were talking yesterday. I realized I don't think I've announced the Cohort 20 award winners yet. I think at the end of, it was like right at the end of April, I think right after our call. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. But I think I had mentioned on the last call that Governor Reynolds and Director Snow had sent a waiver request to the Federal Department of Education about some potential changes to how we approach managing federal funds here in the state of Iowa. So all of the title funds that come from the Federal Department of Ed, they are trying to approach more flexibility in how we kind of combine them all together. And you might have heard about some of this on the news, and I don't know all the details, unfortunately. But the general idea was that we've got all of these title programs, and there's a lot of consistency, but some of them have kind of different nuances about compliance and rules and regulations. So the kind of gist of the waiver request was that we receive all of the federal funding and then we consolidate them into kind of one bucket with one set of rules, one set of compliance goals and kind of objectives, which would kind of dramatically cut down on a lot of our internal processes and procedures and would free up the consultants to do much more in the field rather than just kind of running through claims and processes and stuff. So we are waiting to hear back on that. So I don't have any other updates other than I just wanted to give another kind of quick overview of what that was and kind of the intentionality of it. But again, it's kind of, as someone new coming into it, I would appreciate more time to get out in the field and do other things. And I'm sure you guys would appreciate maybe less of the kind of compliance and data stuff that sometimes we get hung up on. So I will keep you all updated on that as soon as we hear anything, but I believe we're still waiting to hear about that request, and I would imagine it would go back and forth a little bit to try to figure things out. Are there any questions on that? Okay. Shoot me an email, give me a call. Everything would remain the same. All of the title programs, we would basically get the money and then we would just divvy it back out. The same formulas, same measures, same everything. We would just have greater flexibility on a couple of different things. Okay, and then the federal funding. So I know everybody's kind of waiting to hear about all of the new federal budgets and the bills that are kind of advancing in different areas. We are being told by the Federal Department of Education that it's business as usual. Keep planning for the funding. We were awarded the funding already for this year. So I would say I don't have a magic 8-ball or a crystal ball to see into the future, but they keep reiterating that, we're pretty confident everything is going to remain kind of status quo, business as usual, nothing to worry about. So kind of just keep chugging along and we're going to keep doing the same. And like I mentioned, we had announced, and this is not on the website yet, but we had announced the award recipients for our cohort 20. So the newest cohort. Where is it? Let me share it here. And I know a number of you are on here, so congratulations to Council Bluffs, was awarded some funds. Clinton, Oak Ridge. I know we've got a couple of people from Oak Ridge, as well as Boys and Girls Club of Cedar Valley, Des Moines Public Schools, and then our new grantee is Athletics for Education and Success. It's a community-based organization out of the Fort Dodge area. As some of you may recall, Fort Dodge had a grant, but chose to end their award and kind of forfeit the funds back to the state. So there was a little bit of a kind of an opening in that Fort Dodge area, and luckily, one of their previous partners, this AFES group, kind of took the reins and applied, and we were happy to award them some funds to keep a program up in that area. So, congratulations to all of you for winning those funds. We are going through the process of getting contracts ready to go, so you should be seeing something for signature here probably by mid-June. It's unfortunately being delayed a little bit, but we have all the contracts in place. They're being reviewed. You should receive something for signature relatively soon here. So congratulations to you all. Are there any questions about this cohort 20? Yeah, very good. Good part about the job, being able to give money out, and so happy about that. And we've got some really good quality programs that we're going to continue to fund, and hoping to see lots of other applications in the year ahead as well. As you're aware, we'll be opening up that RFA here kind of in the September timeframe. So I know I'm going to be working with Heidi quite a bit on that to try to get everything updated and kind of out there. So stay tuned for more information on that. We also had a little bit of it's pretty minor, but we changed the name. So our previous name of our bureau was the Bureau of Federal Programs. We are now the Bureau of ESEA Programs. So that is a very minor change, but I wanted to kind of just throw it out there. You'll see it in my email signature. I don't know if it's necessarily newsworthy or anything. Just a couple of kind of minor name changes within our department as we continue to kind of move things around and kind of restructure things. But again, that is only in name. It's a change only in name. So nothing else has changed or anything, but we are the Bureau of ESEA Programs, not federal programs. So again, heads up in case you see that and you're just like, wait a second, I don't know what that means. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up is I've got two things, but one of the items on I forgot to add this to the list as well, but site visits. So a number of you are due for a site visit. If you're in your 4th year of your grant, we are supposed to do a site visit before we continue that funding for the 4th year. And because of some of the staffing changes and kind of just getting behind schedule on a number of things, I'm going to try to do a number of those over the summer here. And again, due to kind of time constraints and other kind of issues, we're going to do probably a lighter version than you're maybe used to. Some of you that have had that in the past. So maybe a comprehensive light visit where I will come out, and we can do a Zoom one, potentially a virtual one if you don't have anything going on. But I really want to kind of get out of the office and get out and visit sites and kind of meet people and see what's going on. I would love to, and I'll be sending emails out to all of you on that list that we need to have one of those visits to continue that funding. And again, there's some flexibility. We're just going to write the grants and kind of keep everything moving, pending anything like terribly bad that happens on a site visit, which I don't imagine will happen. We're just going to continue your funding, and then we'll try to figure something out over the summer here or potentially fall if schedules don't line up. But I will be reaching out to you individually to try to figure out dates and times at work. But I would love to try to combine it with a cool event that you have going on, like a family engagement event or some of these carnival events or these really cool things that I know some of you are talking about over the summertime. Would love to try to combine that with a site visit. So we do some of the kind of work stuff, but also some of the fun stuff. And I can kind of get to see your staff in action and kind of see your kids having fun and parents and so forth. So stay tuned for more information on that. If you have any other things going on, though, we don't have to do a comprehensive site visit for me to come out. If you have an event, if you got something going on, I'd be happy to join to say a couple of words or take pictures and put on social media or whatever it happens to be, or just to kind of hang out. I want to try to get out and meet all of you and meet your programs. And again, kind of just get a feel for kind of your groups and your strategies and your programs. And so I hope to do a lot of travel in the year ahead here. But also send me any information or stories or cool events that are happening. And I'll just try to see if we can get our communications team to pump that out on social media or to try to give you a shout out in different ways to try to help build awareness for kind of the importance of after school programs and the importance of the funding at that federal level so we can continue to build that advocacy out for all of you. We actually have a story that is about to post next week relating to the awarding of the new Cohort 20 grant recipients. And we interviewed our friends at Clinton Community School District. But I don't know if we had Molly on here or anybody from Clinton, but she was interviewed as a grant recipient as one of the more rural areas. And then I know they interviewed Heidi for that as well. And I've got a couple of things that I said in that, but a pretty small story, but also kind of a feel good. And again, hopefully building a little bit of awareness that will go out from the Iowa Department of Education about the purpose and value of 21 CCLC and the great work that you all are doing across the state for your after school programs. So send me stuff, pictures, news, whatever it happens to be, and I'll try to kind of pump that out in all of our different channels, as well as my just personal networks on LinkedIn, Facebook, that sort of stuff. And I will try to be your cheerleader and try to get the word out. Any questions about that? Okay, I think that was all I had.
Okay, thanks, Joe. All right, well, we have a couple of things left on the agenda, and then there's a piece of the agenda where I'm going to open it up to conversation. So take the next minute or two to get ready to come off mute because we're going to talk. All right, I'm just giving you fair warning. New cohort grantee orientation. So for those of you folks that are in the new cohort, you have to come to the new cohort grantee orientation. It's required. It'll be a lot of the stuff you already know, but there's also going to be new stuff too. So just if you want to go ahead and mark your calendar, we're looking at July 25th at 11 a.m. You will, of course, get a formal invite with a link to attend, and you can send whomever you want. We suggest you send your, your site director for sure, but also if you have finance people that are going to be helping with budgeting and that type of thing. If you have a local evaluator that might be interested in attending for a portion of it or for all of it, it's great for them to kind of know what's going on too. And so that will be happening after the directors meeting in July at 11 a.m. No, that's a different day. Sorry. It's July 25th, 11 a.m. Professional development documentation. It's that template that many of you have already turned in. Thank you very much for that. If you haven't done that yet, the deadline was today, May 30. If you have a problem or you forgot or you can't find it or whatever, you can email me and I can help you. And if it doesn't come until Monday, I won't tell anybody. That's all right. But just know that if you haven't turned it in yet, today was the deadline or is the deadline. So if you have time to fill out that professional development template today, I'd love to see it. And any questions about that or anything having to do with the new cohort orientation, the PD document? Seems like it's working out well for most.
I've just got a quick question on if we have like a Boys and Girls Club of America potential conference or training that we could send one of our site directors to who's a part of a 21st century site.
Mhm.
I know in the past we've, like sent an agenda and kind of the general overview of that program to like request approval for reimbursement. Are we still, similar kind of format? I just need to get the information and send it off to you, Joe and Heidi.
Yeah, I believe so, but I'll let Joe answer that one for sure.
Yep. Continue with the same process. Yep.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Bailey. Appreciate that. Speaking of PD, the Impact After School Conference registration is open and we've got registrations coming in. So for those of you who have already registered, thank you so much. That's fantastic. I'll put the link in the chat here in a minute. I don't want to mess up our screen, but if you haven't registered yourself, your staff yet, please do that. Remember, you can also bring a community partner if you would like, someone that works closely with your program. We would love to have them. You can use some professional development funds from 21st Century to do that. Just make sure that there's somebody on your community partners list that works with your 21st Century program, and we would love to have them attend with you. Any questions about Impact this year? We've talked a little bit about it. It's a little bit of a different structure, but I think it's going to be great. Just remember the reminder, the invite isn't out yet, but we will be having a directors meeting that Wednesday prior to the Thursday conference. We're looking at beginning in the afternoon, probably sometime afternoon. For those of you who are traveling a distance, you won't have to leave at 5 a.m. to get there. We will meet in the afternoon for the directors piece. We will have a really fun reception with celebration and speeches and Youth of the Year and our awards and things like that the night before, which I think will be very fun. And then the following day, Thursday, will be our full day of conference. So all of the sessions will be available for everyone to attend, and we'll kind of do all that fun stuff the night before, and then we'll do the good learning stuff on that Thursday. We're going to end fairly early in the afternoon as well, so that you're not going to be getting home at 10 p.m. I think based on like where everybody's coming from, the latest anybody should be getting home on Thursday night is probably 7 or 7:30 p.m. Hotels list is available when you click that registration link. There's a lot of state rate hotels there that you can click on and you can find one. And then there's also a couple of other hotel options for you. There's one right across the street from the venue that you can walk back and forth to if you'd like. And we are going to be holding our conference this year at the Olmsted Center on the Drake campus, which is really lovely, and I think everyone will like it. Vendor registration is also open, or exhibitor registration is also open. So if you know somebody that would like to exhibit at this event, we would love to have them. Just go ahead and send them the same link and they'll see where they can go to be an exhibitor. It's a little less expensive to exhibit this year because it'll just be for one day. And I think that, I think it's going to be great. Let me know what questions you have about Impact or the night before or anything like that first, and then I'm going to open it up, and Joe and I would really like to know, of course, we have an idea about some things that we will absolutely cover, but we want to know what you want us to make sure is in that director's meeting at Impact. So we've done these before. For those of you who have been around for a while, we've met with Vic. We've done these directors meetings. It's been a few years since we've done it. We want to know what you want us to make sure we talk about. It doesn't necessarily have to be procedure. It doesn't necessarily have to be like 21st century federal guidelines and stuff like that. It can be can be other stuff too.
I
All
do-
right, I'm gonna be quiet. Here we
I,
go.
I do have a question, Heidi. This is somewhat what I was emailing you about, but it might benefit
Bet.
talking about it with everyone. Just clarification on the expectation or requirement around a director being the one to attend the conference in general, because we send our program coordinators typically to represent and get, I think, the most value out of the sessions that are typically held that are very programming implementation focused. So myself as like the director of the grant and administratively, I was not going to travel. But if that's the expectation, I would potentially only be traveling to and from just for that meeting. So I want to make sure we're not wasting, I guess, resources in that regard, or I won't have childcare, and like there's lots of things I don't need to get into probably, but is there expectations on that you might be willing to shed light on?
Well, I think I'll need to let Joe answer as far as expectation for directors attending the directors meeting. Joe, is that something you can comment on?
I would say ideally you would be there, knowing that schedules can be messy, right? And things happen. As long as you have somebody that you can delegate that has some of the more programmatic, kind of the higher level stuff, kind of in mind, I think I would be okay with that. And again, I know travel can be tricky and everything. Heidi, I don't know if you have any thoughts, but ideally you would be there, but yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. I agree with you for sure, Joe. I know that, and I appreciate that, Caitlin. The expectation has always been that each cohort send at least a delegation or a couple of representatives. So that I know that you guys do that every year. But, if there's specific kind of challenges around that, I'm sure Joe would be open to conversation about it too. And if there's a representative available that can make it and has the kind of institutional knowledge of your program and your cohort, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Thank you. We'll work on that internally for sure. Thanks.
All right, what would people like to see covered?
Can I ask what is on your list? Like that you're already maybe thinking of that maybe could spark something for me?
Sure. Well, it's kind of the regular old stuff. So, of course, the federal guidelines and all of the, requirements. And then I'm sure Joe will probably have some new things that he's going to want to talk about as far as the state, preferences and things that maybe he would like to do a little bit differently than how Vic did things. Joe, did you want to contribute to that?
I'm going to talk about compliance for 2 hours, unless we have other fun stuff to talk about. The basics, and again, my presentations might be a little bit different, but I'll cover kind of the basics and stuff like that and kind of expectations, any updates. But yeah, if there's anything specific, then yeah, we're all ears. We want to make this something that's interesting but also informative. So and we can definitely tailor that to what you're running into, any specific challenges, issues, concerns, whatever that happens to be. We can kind of customize things. So again, it's interesting and engaging, but also kind of informative, and it's going to be helpful.
Would there be any opportunity for us to talk about like similar sources of funding throughout the state of Iowa? Something, I mean, not necessarily specifically 21st century, but other things that the Department of Ed has, or if there are other, Health and Human Services, things like that, to kind of supplement in with 21st century and Department of Ed programs. I think that would be really at least interesting to myself to see what else is out there.
Okay.
I would agree. I think that one of the things that I get asked the most is how are we building our sustainability? And of course, I know what local resources exist and I can do a Google search and look at some of those, but like there's a lot of times where things are I'm not gonna say hidden, but could be lesser known. And then people don't apply and the funding goes without being allocated. And so I think that a conversation piece or at least a list of resources to reach out to would be good. Um, I I think that anytime that we go through and we kind of talk about some of our top community partners has been really helpful. I don't know if we already have a meeting that we cover that in a different time during the year, but as like we go into, that's a good time as far as like that August, September time period for building some relationships and reaching out to some of those same partners in our local area or some of those statewide partners and getting things set up, even if it is in the spring.
Yeah. Thanks, Keely.
If we'd also be able to talk about like, I guess kind of expectations for what the future of local site visits would kind of look like. I think that would be good information because I know that I've only been a part of our organization since after COVID, and it was kind of a bumpy ride. So I'd be really interested to see what the kind of the new layout would look like and how, what we could expect from those things in the future.
Thanks, Bailey. Thanks, you bring up a good point. And so for those of you who've been around for a while, what are some things or something that has been cumbersome or that you feel like is, hey, this could be done more efficiently that you'd like to have on the list of things to discuss with Joe? I can call on folks who've been around for a long time if you want me to. Or you can come off mute and let us know what you think.
I haven't been around for a long time, but as we're walking through this professional development documentation, I'm curious if there are opportunities or a bank of opportunities that exist from you all's vantage point, whether it be state or national, where we could plug in some of our team members. And this is from the vantage point of working with kindergartners all the way up to seniors, obviously. And so if there are opportunities that exist, perhaps it's not a session, maybe it's a one pager or an email or something of that nature.
Great, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I just got my 10-year plaque, so
You've been around
I
for a
guess I'm
while.
one of the oldies. But this is also my last year. So but I think the professional development is important. But one thing that I always felt was that like with staffing and getting things started and knowing all of the responsibilities as a site supervisor, at the beginning of the year, I always felt like I was drowning. And so maybe some ways to help the directors help their staff, um, have time to plan and give them ideas on how not to be drowning at the beginning of each year. I'm still going to be a consultant and I'll be around, but I don't know what my responsibilities are going to be. So I still may be the one jumping on these meetings. I don't know yet. So, but I am scaling back.
Okay. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Karen.
I think one of the things that's like daunting is our evaluation, the whole process of the evaluation. Obviously I know why it's important, but the evaluation, and then there's like 3 things that are due all within like 3 months. And I don't know if that's something that the timing can be changed on any of them or not. I feel like we've talked about it before. You know, so I don't know if like, if we are able to spread something out or like change how we do that. I don't know. Or if anything can like be combined so that we're not having, it feels like very repetitive. It's the APR stuff or whatever it's called now. That's what it is. It's all those things like in like 3 months.
Are you referring, Jenna, to the like the statewide survey stuff too?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, the local evaluation, APR, and statewide survey have references to like make sure everything matches. So it
Yeah.
does feel like you're putting it 3
Yeah.
times. And yes, yeah.
Thanks. Perfect. Let's get one more so we can have 10. Come on. We can do it. One more.
I have something that's kind of minor, and I actually don't think this is something that can be changed because, so like on our federal claim forms, if you want to move items internally, where like if you're like, oh, we're spending more on our vendors than anticipated, and so like if your contracted services is different, like from what I understand, I have to do a line item adjustment every single time we make some of those minor changes. But like on our school districts end of things, all of that is in one same category. It's not broken up so much. And so it's all under program and program supplies. And so even though like we break it up more so on our budget for the federal, like our state claims and things like that. So I find it a little cumbersome just because I have to actually go into like our like wages, and I have to take out and look at what was an associate wage and what like how many days did they have PD, and then I have to pull that like wage out. And so I don't love having to make the little tiny requests differently to break it out. And so I'm assuming that that's just part of the like accounting side of the federal grant to be able to break down. This is how much contract services were used as a state and then as a federal grant program. So I doubt that that's something that can be changed, but it's something that like for as far as the general ledger for like the school district, like it doesn't get into those type of details. And so it's just a lot more administrative work that's put back onto me because our accountant's like, this is your thing. I already have my stuff figured out. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I did the APR things this year for the first time. And I maybe come from a different standpoint where I really liked how detailed it was because it made it really easy to like be able to answer questions for advocacy. And so I would hate to see it go too streamlined, just as like my personal opinion, because that's my one time that I get to like comprehensively be able to answer detailed results on things. But I do see how having them all at the same time was like a very stressful time for me, but I was really proud of it when I was done. So that's my 2 cents.
And are you speaking to like the local evaluation document where you have a lot of the questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks everyone. I really appreciate you sharing everything. Is there anything that popped into somebody's mind that they want to make sure I document?
I had a thought actually, Heidi.
Yeah.
After hearing things that definitely resonate with me, but were in my forefront of my brain. An extra thing that I have sometimes wondered if I have just somehow in 10 years missed information or resources, which could be true. I've been in some capacity with the grant for 10 years, but only in this seat for 3. But I find that I am always a little bit curious of what other sites and programs are using for their whether it's like their platform or they're documenting their attendance and things of the sort in conjunction with their outcomes and APR, because we use CitySpan. I know somebody else in the world uses it too. I know there's a couple more that float and we've considered them, but I find that our system doesn't match easily to APR. So it feels very manual for our site. And I'm sure that that's a Council Bluffs issue, that we missed something where I kind of picked up the systems in place from those of my predecessors. But if that could be just tagged on to some of those other pieces, I feel like I have a system disconnect on those reporting pieces, which also makes them a little bit more challenging or overwhelming because I feel like I have a lot of room for error because it's so manual and between multiple places where I find that a number could have been typed wrong or pulled slightly incorrectly. So that's my extra piece.
Yeah, thank you. That's
again, it might be me. I wouldn't be surprised. So
no, I'm sure it's not. But
And
thank
there
you.
was like RFPs out there for data set. I don't know, I guess, if that ever came to a full conclusion in Vic's time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Caitlin, is that Vic, right before this, like maybe at our last impact conference, didn't he mention that they were looking at on a state level, doing a statewide, wanting our opinions and feedback on that?
Yeah, I think it's been talked about quite a bit. And I was just talking with Heidi about this as well, of potentially getting to a point of taking action for a statewide system of some sort. Yeah.
Also, a quick plug, we use Easy Reports and it's fabulous.
Okay. Thanks, Kaylee.
Is that a free program or does it have a cost?
Definitely not free.
Definitely not free.
That was the one that we had used that previously, and they have like a actual report that is an APR report, I believe. Keely, I haven't been in it in a number of years, and we don't use it anymore because we didn't find it super user friendly on the people who are in it every day. But I think that was the one Vic was mostly interested in as well because of that kind of customized report that they had done for APR.
Yeah, it has a lot of different ways that it runs reports, and it was very quick to get the data for APR if I had already input it. And so like one thing that like we don't use is that like I did not put all of our students' test scores into it. I probably could upload them into it. I just don't. I have that as an Excel spreadsheet, and that's the part of APR like I didn't pull data for personally.
We have a new evaluator for our program, and he's actually from Graceland University. And so I've been working really close. We just finished our evaluation, and he said, "Why aren't you using the school's attendance program like the JMC? Why couldn't they create, a section for after school program or summer program so that you can, it's part of JMC, and then you can pull your reports from there?" And I said, 10 years, I have never thought about that. But another reason is because there's been such a disconnect between Exploration Academy and the school district. Every principal has not grasped the idea that we are part of the school. We're still looked at as a separate entity, and it's been really frustrating. But anyway, so I'm hoping for the new person coming in that they get that's a possibility. I haven't approached that. I have a meeting next week with our superintendent, but I think that would be really ideal because you could, all the demographics and everything are all right there and you can pull those reports. So I have a feeling I'll still be doing the reports because as a consultant, because I finally got it down pat. And, it would be kind of hard to shift that really quickly.
All right, thanks everybody. Okay, you probably already have seen some new calendar invites coming to you. We're cleaning up all of the communities of practice lists and calendar invites. And so you'll probably see some things coming to you to delete old ones and add new ones. Those would be coming from Adriana, most likely from Iowa After School Alliance. So as they come in, please make those updates in your calendar. Please email Adriana, and you can add me if you want to, with any changes or additions to the Communities of Practice committees. We had a fantastic family engagement committee meeting this week. I just really want to encourage people to start joining those again if you haven't in the past. There's some renewed energy and some different kind of action around these committees, and I'd love for people to get to them. And if you, oh shoot, the link's not working. Sorry, Keely. I'll make sure I email it to you guys, but I know you know where to find it too. It's on the 21st Century website, on the IAA website. It'll be in the email. Go to that Impact conference registration page. Sorry about that. Anyway, back to communities of practice. Make sure that you've got somebody represented on each one for each cohort that your school has. All right. We're going to say goodbye and have a great weekend. I'll stay on for a few minutes. I'll stop the recording in case there's anything else anybody wants to talk about.